guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is part 2 of my little 2-part series of my symptoms per day past ovulation. So today's video, I'm going to jump right into it. It is going to cover days 7 through 13 past ovulation. So 7 through 13 DPO. I'm just going to go through every day and my symptoms. For those of you who are new, my name is Jill, mommy lifestyle vlogger. I have one daughter named Ava, and my husband and I are trying to conceive baby number 2. So with further ado, I've been keeping track of my symptoms on my phone. I do want to add a disclaimer that at the end of the day, all the symptoms that I am feeling and experiencing are very typical for early pregnancy and premenstrual. I am very hyper aware of my symptoms, and especially because I am recording these videos, I feel like I'm paying attention just a little bit more to what I'm feeling. But I am going to give you the symptoms. Maybe it'll give you some hope if you are also trying to conceive. And don't mind my cat walking around in the background. He insisted on being in here with me. So, oh, and part 1 of my video is up on my channel. I will insert it at the end of this video if you want to know what symptoms I experienced between days 1 through 6 DPO. So 7 DPO, which fell on a Sunday. Let's see. I wrote down I had cervical mucus when I wiped. And for this video, I will refer to cervical mucus as CM. Intense headache in the morning, and I had mild nausea in the afternoon. Gosh, I feel like this was so long ago. It's hard for me to recount this. Early on, when I was ovulating, I had a migraine that seemed to last for days, and it sounds like this just was the tail end of it. Really broken out. I wrote down that I had acne, lower back pain, and by the time nighttime rolled around, I was pretty bloated, which can happen to any of us at any point in the month. Oh, I did make note that I was very bloated, and that for dinner I had a tiny amount of meatloaf, some green beans, and sweet potatoes. So I didn't have anything that would actually make me bloated, like beans or anything super irritating to the gut. So I know it wasn't food related, and I wrote down that I was also constipated. So then 8 DPO, I still have on here that I was constipated. I had a constant feeling of being full. I was noticing for about a minute that I was having a sharp pain on the right side of my uterus. My lower right side, I wrote. Dull cramping. And I must have gone running this day, and I noticed some pinching in my lower stomach. And then really quickly, we can talk about the elephant in the room. My hair is wet. I'm on a blow drying hiatus, so don't mind it. Just bear with me. I'm out of breath. 9 days past ovulation, I noticed breast tenderness. And I can tell you that most of it's was in the sides, like closer to the armpit more than the breasts. Mild cramping, and I wrote in all caps locks, bloated, with a bunch of exclamation points. So I must have been very bloated that day. I was belching frequently, which is nothing new for me. I'm disgusting. It's like just what I do, but I made notes, so it must have been more than normal. I wrote down that I had some afternoon nausea and that I was very hungry all day. So 10 DPO, when I woke up, I felt very full in my abdomen. And then I wrote that I was gassy both ends. You guys, this video is so TMI. I was retaining a little water. I get my legs were probably swollen. That's usually when I can tell that I'm retaining water. It goes right to my calves. Very mild morning cramping. Oh, and I did run this day, and I made a note that I can't remember how far I ran. It must have been one of my longer runs, or at least I was trying to have a longer run, but I wrote that I had some really heavy legs, which legs feel heavier than normal, like you're pulling a bus behind you. And I actually do remember that run. I think that it was cut short because like I just could not keep going, which is not normal for me. Okay, so 11 DPO. This is also the day that we were flying to Arizona. I live in Nashville. We were flying to Phoenix. And we woke up at 3 in the morning, mind you. So when I write down that I was exhausted and bloated, those are typical flight symptoms also. Like, I always swell up when I'm on a plane, and obviously getting up at 3 in the morning versus my usual 6 or 7 in the morning, I was tired. I wrote that I had a small headache that day and light cramps. Okay, 12 DPO. I had a few more symptoms. I wrote down breaking out still. I am still, like, even now. I wrote down that I'm constipated. I wrote down that I was constipated and bloated, still exhausted, feeling really fatigued. I was experiencing some mild cramping and nausea. And that brings me to 13 DPO, which is the last day, and not a ton of symptoms. I was cramping mildly, pretty moody. I was emotional. And when I say emotional, I was also on a trip with my family and people were saying goodbye, and I was just feeling super nostalgic. So I had bad nausea, and I actually remember this. My husband and I went out to dinner and I ate, like, we got Mexican. I had some tacos, like chips and salsa tacos. Like, I never really like eat a ton of the sides, like nothing too irritating. I eat Mexican like twice a week, and I was so sick afterwards, and I thought maybe I had food poisoning because I did end up vomiting, but my husband felt fine, and we were eating kind of the same foods, and it just, whatever, it was not sitting well with me. I was super nauseous, probably the worst case of nausea I've ever experienced in my life. But it passed, so it could have just been a little something, a little stomach bug very quickly. I don't know. But that was the last symptom I wrote down for days 7 through 13 DPO. Like I said in my disclaimer, all of these symptoms could be premenstrual symptoms. They could be early pregnancy symptoms. It's still really early to tell. So I'm going to leave you with that. If you are following my TTC journey, keep watching for videos. If I do end up pregnant this cycle, I will end up posting something. I don't know when. But I hope you did enjoy it. I hope it gave you some information of things to look for when you're trying to conceive, and things you should be feeling or things I'm feeling and you just want to relate. Anyways, please subscribe to my channel down below. Leave comments. I always love to hear from you. And follow me on Instagram. Here I am right here. And yeah, watch for my next video. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.